this is the beginning of something. And obviously, it's the beginning of the video. But besides that, it's also the beginning of what I'm going to call my drag transformation cosplay manga talk series. That's kind of long, but we're working on the name. We're working on the name. But what we're going to do today is basically put on some makeup, or why do I say we? Like, I'm going to do it. You're just going to watch. But again, let's imagine you're included in the process. And what we are going to do is put on some makeup, do some drag, and cosplay at the same time. So I like to do this thing of mixing the drag elements of makeup inspire on the character. Like, imagine if that character from a certain show would do a drag makeup, and that's how that makeup would look. Does that make sense? I don't know. Anyways, I sketched my makeup inspired on Power from Chainsaw Man, and that is the character we are gonna dragplay. What name could it be? Cosplay and drag. Dragsplay. Nah, that's too obvious. Cos drag. Cos Dryan? No, what the no. Let's let's just keep saying drag and cosplay meets together. I can't come up with a name now. Maybe you can help me. What I already finished is the sketch. I like to create the sketch for my makeup before I do it, just to like let my ideas flow. And I know what you're trying, I know what you're thinking. This does not give power. And you're kind of right, because we as a society already decided that Power from Chainsaw Man is a musty, crusty, dirty queen. And I agree, but also she can give us glam. She can give us beauty. I believe in her. I believe she can pull something like this. But besides that, the point is that I base the makeup on what I think the character gives. And she has this like the blood manipulation. It sounded like Avatar. But the blood, or like the blood power. Just the blood demon. So for me, this like red eyeliner is like the blood thing. And then everything giving like very strong vibes. I don't know. I think she's very strong and powerful. Power. And the lips, it's because her hair is pink. It will make sense. I think it will look different too, because this is paper and on my face is a bit different. That's just the idea, the sketch. It's literally the sketch. And that being said, let's get into it. First step for some drag makeup is always to glue your eyebrows. I'm only gonna glue like half of them because I want to use the base of my eyebrows to give a little bit more of like a natural look. But basically what I want to do is like lift my eyebrows a little bit and look more natural, if that's really possible. So I started Chainsaw Man, the anime, last year. And basically I was late to the whole, like I wasn't watching the show while it wasn't like airing, but I've seen it. And honestly, Chainsaw Man is one of those stories or like animes that after I watch the anime, my anxiety tells me that I need to know what happens and I need to know the whole story. And that's how I go into the manga. So that's how it went. I started reading the manga right after the anime. Like the first season finished, then immediately I got the manga. I didn't get it physically at that moment. I think I rented it in the library. But then, because I have a subscription and some of the manga pages, I started reading the manga. Usually, that's how I go about like manga. I like to read it online. Like, how do you people? That sounds wrong. You people, how do you read your manga? Like, when how do you know you need to spend the money on the physical copies, or like how does it work usually? Because for me, the way I do it is I start reading it online. If I like the chapter, the volume, the story, everything, then I make the effort to buy it physically. And I say make the effort because it is an effort. Like I'm poor, so it's not like I can just go and buy as many mangas as I want. I need to make sure that I like it and I really want it before I buy it, and I want to have like a big collection of it, but again, I can't afford it yet. And actually, that's one of the reasons why I started like on manga very late. Not very late, because hello, but I mean, like now in this chapter of my life, I usually read the manga online, and then if I really like it, if I really want it, I put it on my list of like chapters or books that I want to have. I really, really, really want to have the whole collection of Chainsaw Man. So far, I love, 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 love the story. It touches in conversations that I never thought manga would take me to. You know what I mean? Also, I'm not familiar with the writer, the mangaka for Chainsaw Man. I heard he has something called Fire Punch, like something else, or his other most known work is Fire Punch. And I am considering reading Fire Punch because a bunch of people had said, or like I read comments of in other videos and in other media, they say something like after a few things that happen in Chainsaw Man, they're saying things like, "Oh, it's like you should know this will happen. Like, it's not like you never heard of Fire Punch." And I'm like, "Wait, what? Is it more traumatic than Chainsaw Man?" I need to know, and please let me know if it's something that I should read or not, or if I should give it a pass and just watch a recap video or something. I'm now creating the shape of my eyes, or like the way I want to have it. I think I want it a little bit more round instead of like so sharp. We'll see. I like to do this first to know exactly where I'm gonna put my eyeshadow and all of that. It helps me know exactly how much space I have. Ooh, the intro, the OP for Chainsaw Man, I think is the only OP that I never skipped since the first time that I watched, like second episode. I think that was in second episode where they show it. Oh, first one, whatever. The first time I heard that, I was like, I love this song. From day one, it was meant to be. I was meant to listen to that song every single episode that I watch of Chainsaw Man. It's just so good. One thing I didn't know is that Chainsaw Man, it's meant to be a two-story part. Like I didn't know that. I found out about that now that I caught up with the manga, and I was confused. I was like genuinely confused about what was going on in the story because I felt like they just cut the story of like this part was finished. I'm trying not to get into spoilers for people that are not reading the manga. But I was confused about like the story changed from one part and then suddenly we just move on and completely like introduce new characters, new everything. And I kept reading it. I was like okay with it. But I was confused. I was like, where is the story going? What is this about? What happened to all of the other devils? And how are these other devils back? That's a question for another day. So recently, when I found out that the story is actually meant to be like three parts, I think. So I was like, oh, okay, now it makes sense. Now I understand. But it took me basically to finish or to cut up with the manga as it is like actually right now for me to understand a little bit more of what was going on because it is a bit confusing for someone like me who is kind of new to or like fairly new to the manga. I want to use a shimmer like glitter. Do I have like glitter? I don't think I do, but I want to use like. Let's move on to the eyeliner part before I add anything else. But besides the story being like a bit confusing for me, I also love how mature the story is. And it's like a lot more than just the fights and the guts and all of that. There's a lot of like deep conversations and deep themes that are being touched upon in this story that I'm like, I'm enjoying it so much because of that, because it's like very mature. The characters are like complicated characters. And it's easy to love and hate them at the same time. They're so good. And like you feel bad for so many of the characters, especially Denji. Denji is like, oh my god, he needs therapy. But whatever. That's part of the story, he's suffering. Denji is one of the best main characters. I feel like recently the main characters of like new stories, new animes, new mangas are like so well written, so real. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like they're finally learning that we kind of need to relate to these characters to like them even more. It's like I love having the super powerful guy who like untouchable and just it's just punch 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 and then everything gets solved. But I like to like I don't know, get a connection with the characters that I feel like I understand what they're going through. And I feel like recently with the stories or like the new mangas that are being created, they're like focusing more on the character development and the character itself than just, I don't know, the power scale and who's the most powerful one in the fights and stuff. And I like that a little bit more because it makes it more mature. Or maybe I'm just realizing about that because I'm growing. Maybe they were always like that and I'm just realizing because now I'm focusing on that. Let's continue with the makeup just for a sec. I'm doing some definition on the liner. I think it's gonna look sickening. Sickening, no? Again, this makeup, it's more like the makeup itself, it's inspired on the character. It's not what the character would like look like. I'm not trying to look exactly like the character. I'm trying to create something out of the character. And that's where this makeup comes from. I know I haven't said much about like anything new or any take that it's different about Chainsaw Man. I don't want to go deep into like a volume review or like a chapter review kind of thing because I don't know yet how like spoilery it will be. And I don't want to make this video about like the story, all of it, what's happening and discussing all of that. I want to make it more about my experience with Chainsaw Man and the makeup. Because later maybe I would do more like, if you want me to, if you think that's something you're interested, I would do like my opinion in a volume. You know what? I would do it anyways because it's whatever I want. But I will maybe do like a separate video about a chapter review, volume review kind of thing, just to make it like, okay, that one is about spoilers more, and or like what's happening in the future of Chainsaw Man if there is an anime season 2 happening, or the movie that they announced like a long time ago, but we don't have a date. Like, what's going on? What's happening? Is it coming? Someone please confirm. I like to finish my like top eyes first, then I do my face, and then I finish the bottom. That's how I go about my makeup. Now, before I finish the rest of my eyes, because they're not fully done, I'm gonna move on to my face. And once I'm done with my face and like set it all and stuff, then I do the bottom part of my eyes and finish whatever needs to be connected and all that jazz. So let's highlight the face first. I'm gonna go ahead and put on my foundation now. I noticed that I'd said like almost everything that I wanted to say about the anime, or like things that topics that I wanted to touch on a bit earlier on the video, and now I'm kind of like don't know exactly what to talk about. Um, I mean, I have a lot to talk about. I just want to like repeat myself. But also going back to like the characters of Chainsaw Man being complicated and but also like easy to know, like easy to hate or love immediately. Power is one of those characters that like the first time I saw her, I found her so annoying. I hated her ass. I was like, what are we doing here? Who is she? And I thought she was gonna be more like, I don't know, like more villainous a little bit. You know, those like love to hate or like frenemies kind of thing. I thought she was gonna be more like uh a character that would mess up with Denji a little bit more and like fucked things up for him, and not really like becoming friends, more than friends, brother and sister. I mean, not like a relationship thing. Also, I noticed that Chainsaw Man, it's one of the few animes that doesn't have like the husbando material. You know what I mean? Or like at least for me, there is no husbando material really, because it's, I guess it's more centered on like those women being, or like the women being the more like powerful and the sex appeal. But also touching on that, um, the women in this show are very problematic. Like, what is going on? Why are they the worst? What did we do? Why are the women in this show like badass. They're so bad. They're like, but not bad like bad characters. It's just like they're so good at being bad. But like everyone is awful. Everyone in this show, in this anime, in this manga, this story is awful. Why? Why is everyone such a piece of, especially the girls? Like, I wish there was like one of them that I feel they're like powerful and cool, and I'm like, oh my god, I love this character because I love. Don't get me wrong, like I love their powers. I love how like I genuinely love how bad, how evil their characters are. Like I love that, especially Makima, that bitch. That is such a good evil character. Like my god, and people who support her are going to hell. I've seen people getting tattoos. Like I have an anime tattoo. Listen, I have Sesshomaru from Inuyasha on my leg, and I'm hoping to get more tattoos of many characters that I love. But I will never, ever get a tattoo of Makima. As much as I like find her character so interesting, like she is evil. She's so good at being evil, but she's not like she's not the material that you want to praise. Like you want to. Why are you getting a tattoo of an abuser? I know it's just a character. Like, isn't it? But why? Why? That's all I can say. All I can ask is why. This is not a review of Chainsaw Man itself. It's just what I noticed. Like, I'm not trying to make this video about reviewing Chainsaw Man or saying things that you missed or anything like that. It's just things that I notice that, like, the thoughts that come to my head whenever I'm watching or reading the story of Chainsaw Man. That's basically what I'm doing while doing my makeup. It's given drag. What does drag has to do with anime? Nothing, but that's the fun of it. I can be creative and I can do whatever I want because at the end of the day, this is all just for me. And the character of Power is certainly like interesting for me because there's some things that I still don't understand about the devils and the fiends and all of that. Um, so she was a normal person, right? And then she got taken by the devil. Like I still don't really understand how it works. Like how does a devil come to take your body? Because with Denji, it's kind of like a contract. But is it like I think they do explain it in an episode, but I've seen so much stuff. Like I watch a lot of anime and I'm reading a few mangas at the same time, so the information just like it just passed by. So help me understand exactly how the devil, like how the fiends work, and how are they different from the weapons or like Chainsaw Man, Katana Man, Bomb Girl, who we'll talk about in a separate video. I already have the wig and everything. I'm gonna do a cosplay about it. Maybe next. Okay, now that the makeup's set, I'm gonna remove the powder, and then I'm going to. Well, first I'm gonna finish my eyebrows. We have some eyebrows now. I guess we always had them. They're just more defined now. Like my inspiration for this makeup is more of her like power of what she can do and like the blood and stuff, and that's where the red and the makeup comes. And also she has like a very strong personality, so I wanted to have like strong lines and like strong eyes for this makeup because she has a very strong personality, and I wanted to include all of the red that I could in a simple way, but I wanted to include the red to symbolize like her power. I'm sorry if you see a lot of like skips in the makeup, but I am not really talking. Like, there is a moment where I have to focus just on the makeup to get it done. Because if I keep talking and talking, it's just like I'm never gonna finish, and this will be a 3-4 hour video. Because my brain, I start talking about one thing, and then my brain goes to the other, to the other. Like, I have so many thoughts about one thing that I just drift from the main point very easily. So sometimes I just like stay quiet and continue the makeup, or like I finish a thought, continue the makeup, and stay silent for like 15 minutes. So that's why you're gonna see a lot of like skips and cuts just when I'm saying something relevant or pointing out whatever I'm doing with my makeup. I'm gonna move on to the blush part of this, and I wanted the blush to be like subtle because I want the main focus to be the eyes being like super strong and all that. So I'm just using a peach color just a little bit to like highlight what I already used, or like to bring back the color, but I don't want the blush to be like too much. So you can focus here, just here. The eyes. Strong. I'm a strong, independent woman who needs no power. Actually, I do. I wish I could have power. I always been drawn to characters that manipulate blood. Why is that? What does that say about me? Like, I don't know. It's very interesting. Like, I always, my favorite thing, like, my favorite bending in Avatar was blood bending. Like, come on. That was cunt. I didn't want to say the word, but that was it. Then there's also Marie Moreau from Gen V. Beautiful powers. And I guess Victoria Newman from The Boys. Favorite powers. Who else is a bloodbender? I mean, Power is basically a bloodbender. It's just like the bloodbender edition of the Chainsaw Man War. But I love her. It's just like I'm always drawn to that kind of power. The bloodbending in every media is just, it's so powerful. And also, going back to being so powerful, I like how in Chainsaw Man they give like this risk or of using their powers, like, or it's not just like overpower people with superpowers. Those kind of things, those kind of details, I like that. Because it's like, okay, you're not just like a supernatural being who can do whatever. They still like kind of suffer through the process of having those powers. I really like that in Chainsaw Man. It wouldn't be drag without some big lips. So here we go. I'm looking at my monitor to see, like, I have to check my makeup every 3 seconds. So I'm looking at my monitor to see if it's like symmetrical and if my makeup is reading well. So that's why I look a lot there. I'm like posing right there. I love to do that. Almost done with the makeup. Now I'm gonna do my nose because having a skinny nose is part of drag. I made the rules. I'm gonna add some shimmer around here because why not? Because it's not drag if there is no glowiness or something. That's not a rule, actually. Now I'm gonna put on some lashes. Lashes are the final touch for the look. I have lashes on now, and I think this is the final step. Makeup is done. Now let's get in costume. Here you have it. Obviously, I've done this cosplay before. I mean, look at my profile picture. Hello. But I always wanted to record like the process, the idea that I had behind the makeup, the cosplay in general. So this is exactly what it was. I wish I got to talk more about many things, about especially like Chainsaw Man and all of that. But I genuinely didn't want to go into like spoilers and other things. I'll definitely do like a chapter review of what's coming next and other things because I want to discuss the manga separately and not right here. I just wanted to like point out some things about Chainsaw Man that I enjoy and that I like notice or I didn't notice or that I completely miss or that I don't understand. So that's it. This is it. This is the outfit. Oh, wait, let me get up. I don't have any shoes, so no free feet pics here. I'm just gonna try to show as much as I can, but it is a full outfit. See you in the next video. Bye.